In this Adobe After Effects tutorial, I'll show you how to create this viral intersecting line animation with a smooth mask reveal effect. You can find the project file link in the description below, and let's get started. Back in After Effects, so let's start with a fresh composition. So click on new composition and let's call it as main render comp. For the preset, I will go with 1920 by 1080 pixels with a 30 frame per second. And for the duration, let's set it to 10 seconds duration. And for the background color, let's set it to black. Hit OK and hit OK. Now let's add a solid layer first. So let's add a solid. Let's go to effect controls and change the color to a little bit grayish tone. Yeah, hit OK. Now grab the rounded rectangle tool and make sure the fill is set to a solid color. Let's choose the color for this, a bright blue color for this. Hit OK and make sure the stroke is turned off, and just turn on the title action safe for the perfect alignment. Now make a perfect shape, something like this. Align it in the center of the composition using this align tool. If you don't find this align tool, go to Windows and you can find the align tool from here. Now let's call it as mask. Now in the shape properties, just increase the roundness little bit. Let's go with 30%. Again, align it in the center of the composition and make sure the anchor point is also in the center of the shape. Now let's add a video on this first. So let's go to project panel, and I have downloaded a free match cut video from the Pinterest. Just add it in the timeline and just scale it little bit to match the exact size of the rectangle. And now just using the pick whip tool of the track mat, just drag it to the mask layer and it will automatically be inside the shape. Just adjust the size of the video layer and you will find something like this. Yeah, now let's quickly turn off this for a while and grab the star tool from the toolbar and make sure the fill is set to none and the stroke is turned on with a solid color. And let's choose a color for this as black color. Hit OK and now make a perfect small star, something like this. Now you can increase the stroke width to something around 6 pixels, and in the shape properties, under the shape properties section, just change the points value to 4 and change the inner radius to 0 and change the outer radius to something around 50 maybe. And now you can play with the stroke width around. Let's go with 8 pixels and you can find this plus icon. Let's quickly rename it as plus. Now you can align it in the center of the composition. Make sure the anchor point is also in the center of the plus. Now you have this plus icon. Now you have to make two intersecting lines using this pen tool. So before that, just go to the section and change the screen value to something around 25%. So you will get the whole space to draw a line. Now let's go to pen tool and select the pen tool. Make sure the stroke is set to a solid color and fill is set to none. And you can set the stroke width to something around 5 pixels. And now make a perfect line. Holding shift, you can make a perfect line in the center, straight line. Now you can align it using the align tool horizontally and vertically. Make sure the anchor point is also in the center of the line. Now make sure the layer is selected. Just make another line. Now you have this line. To perfectly center align it, just expand the layer, expand the contents and expand the shape to layer and expand the transform properties and just set the position, vertical position, to perfectly align it like this. You can use the arrow keys to perfectly align in the center and make sure the anchor point is also in the center. If you don't find to be it in center, just use the pan behind tool for this and make sure it is in the center. Now quickly rename it as line. Hit U to hide everything. Now we have this perfectly aligned line. Select your line layer, expand it, expand the contents. Holding shift, select both the shape layers, expand them, expand, or you can search for the dashes effect and you can find the dashes property. Just expand it for the both layers and just click on this plus icon to add dashes to both the lines, something like this. And 10 value is almost good. You can play with the offset property, but let's set it to default as it is. And you have this lines over here. Now make sure the line is selected, line layer is selected. Just parent it to the plus layer. Now holding shift, select these two layers, hit Ctrl D to make a duplicate of that and just drag it above, something like this. Now you can change the layer color. Now let's animate it. So Let's quickly turn on our video layer. Now it's time to animate this. So select the +2 layer and select the +1 layer and hit P to open the position property. Make a keyframe at the beginning of the timeline. Move the playhead to 1 second forward. And now select the first plus layer and using the selection tool, just drag this to perfectly set in the corners. You can use the right and left arrow keys, up and down arrow keys to perfectly align it in the corner of the shape, something like this. Now select the second plus layer and drag it, something like this. Let's use the arrow keys for this. Now we have the perfect alignment, something like this. Now select the mask layer, expand it, expand the contents, expand the rectangle, expand the rectangle path, and you can find the size property over here. Make sure the playhead is at the beginning of the timeline. Make a keyframe on size value. Move this keyframe to exactly 1 second forward. Move the playhead at the beginning of the timeline. Now set the size value to perfectly 0. Now select all the keyframes, apply easy ease by clicking on F9 as a shortcut key for this, or you can go with right click, go to keyframe assistant and click on easy ease. Go to the speed graph editor. Make sure you are using the speed graph editor. Just zoom in a little bit and make a perfect graph, something like this. So it will start with the highest value at the beginning and get slower in the end. Let's see our animation. Yeah, you got this. That's how we make this animation. Now you can add further keyframes for the further text, or you can add different video frames. Let's add a text forward. So before that, hit U to hide everything first. Now what you have to do is select your mask layer, hit U to see the keyframes for the size property. Now move the playhead to something around 2 frames forward. Make a keyframe by clicking on this little keyframe icon to give it a pause. And move to 2 seconds 20 frame forward. Just unlink the abstract proportion. Let's make a shape, something like this. Align it in the center of the composition again. Now you have this shape, something like this. Let's select the video layer and just add this frame around 2 seconds. Hold Alt and right bracket key to split the layer from that point, and we will add the text in this frame. So before that, just turn on the mask layer to show the shape and just grab the text type tool and type any text you like. Let's type design. Select your text. Let's choose a font for this. Let's choose the font as bbars and increase the size value for the text, something like this. Just align it in the center of the composition for the shape. Just again increase the size just like the shape. Align it in the center of the composition and change the text color to a white color for this. Let's decrease the size a little bit. Let's go with 320 pixels. Again, align it in the center of the composition. Make sure the anchor point is also in the center. Now you can turn off the mask, and now just select your text layer and just drag it above the video layer you have, and just change the text color to a black color for this, or let's go with a bright blue color for this. Yeah, perfect. Now what you have to do, just select your text layer and just using this pick whip tool of the drag mat, just drag it to the mask layer. And now what you have to do is just select your plus layer, holding Ctrl key on your keyboard, select your both the plus layer, hit U to see their keyframes, make a keyframe on position to give it a pause at this frame. Move it something like at 2 seconds 20 frame forward. Select your first plus layer and using the selection tool, something like this, select your first plus layer and using the right arrow keys and left arrow keys, you can perfectly align the lines to the text, something like this. And now you have this perfectly aligned for the text. Now you again select your mask layer and at 2 seconds 20 frame forward, just set the size according to the text, something like this. Yeah, perfect. Now just apply the opacity effect, or you can apply the text animation for this. So select your text layer, hit T to open the opacity property and make a keyframe on opacity with a value of 0%. Move to at this frame, something around 2 seconds 20 frame forward. Just increase the value of 100% and you will get this, something like this. Select your text, hit F9 to apply easy ease. Now select your last all the keyframes, hit F9 to apply easy ease. Go to the speed graph editor, just zoom in a little bit and make a graph, something like this. Now we have this animation. Let's set a mark point by clicking on N for the shortcut key. Select all the layers, hit U to hide everything, and lastly just turn on the motion blur for the smoothest feel, and make sure to turn on this icon to give it a perfectly motion blur effect. And yeah, we have this animation. Let's render it. If you found the text to be visible before, so let's select the text layer, hit U to see the opacity property, and make sure to adjust the first keyframe a little bit forward, something like this. Yeah, I think it's looking good. So yeah, that's how we make this viral line animation in After Effects. So if you found this video useful, make sure to like this video, share, comment, and till then I will see you in my next video.